I want to start with this. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but let's dive more into it because with the ESPYs last night, it kind of stoked this conversation about Jaylen Brown not being invited to play for Team USA. And I think there's a multitude of levels to it. I remember Jaylen Brown was the one that tweeted out, so this is what we're doing, Nike, right? But this is what Jaylen Brown said when he was asked a couple of times the red carpet, the ESPYs, about not being included on the Olympic team.
It feels great to have support, and one day I'll share my story. People don't have all the information in the world that they would like to know. It just feels great to be here at the ESPYs and to be holding up to Larry O'Brien.
Okay, so there's more to the story that we need to know. I don't think there's that much more to the story, but I'll get to it in a second. On Wednesday, Grant Hill, of course, one of the all-time great college players, and I think we all agree would have been a very, very good to great NBA player if not for the injuries. Grant Hill was actually the general manager for Team USA. Here's what he said about the choice of replacement. Derek White, of course, teammate of Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum with the champion Boston Celtics, as a replacement for Kawhi Leonard.
You have to build a team. And one of the hardest things is leaving people off the roster that I'm a fan of, that I look forward to watching throughout the season, throughout the playoffs. Guys who've been finals MVPs, guys who've been a part of the program, guys who've won gold medals, guys who I respect, admire, and enjoy watching. But the responsibility that I have is to put together a team, and a team that complements each other, a team that fits, a team that will give us the best opportunity for success.
Okay, so I thought that part is interesting. And it's, I think, fairly obvious what he means, and we'll flesh it out in a second. But what Jaylen Brown has said by bringing Nike into the conversation is doing what so many people do with every different story in the world, not just sports. Okay? I don't know whether it's Trump. I think you can even go to Tim Donaghy, who is the famous official who, of course, was shaving points to pay off his gambling debts. I'm not sure if it's the movie JFK, which made many of us question who, in fact, killed John Fitzgerald Kennedy. I don't know what it is. But the truth is, we are on some search for truth when oftentimes the truth is right in front of us. And here's where I'll blame Trump. Okay? Donald Trump has never, taken any sort of accountability for January 6th, which he should. He's never taken any sort of accountability for saying that Barack Obama wasn't born in the United States, which he was. Okay? And all he did during those times was paint to some sort of conspiracy theory. Also, obviously, he's never said like, hey, I lost the last election. Okay? When the leader of the free world is a conspiracy theorist, it makes everybody not trust anybody. USA Basketball, and you just listen to the words of Grant Hill. Hey, we're just trying to build a team here. Right? And they've had a week or a week and a half or so of practices to assess what do we need if we're going to replace. By the way, I've done that with my own team. Okay? I had a couple of scholarships available. Okay? I still have 2 available. And my assessment of who I'm going to add is based upon I've had, I think it's 12 practices now, 12 practices, 12 workouts to assess what do I need to add to. I don't like redundancies, and I think the same could be said for USA Basketball. So, look, you can take it as he's one of the best players in the world, and he's being shunned by a team that's supposed to be made up of the 12 best players. When the reality is, Grant Hill's a basketball guy. Right? He's got a whole committee. He's got a coaching staff, and they've determined that Derek White is a better fit than Jaylen Brown. A better fit, which builds a better team. I thought Dan Patrick reiterated what I said yesterday, and I agree with, which is which one of those two is going to be okay if he doesn't play a minute? And, oh, yeah, by the way, if he does play, what's needed? What don't they have? Right? You have Drew Holiday, who's a tremendous defender and good, not great offensive player, but he's a scorer. He's a passer. He's not an elite shooter. Derek White is a very good defender who plays without the basketball in his hands and can guard multiple positions and is more of a European-style guard. Remember, when they play in the Olympics, it's a completely different style of basketball. And the drivers, athletes, ISO guys, that doesn't work that well. Now, Jaylen Brown is a tremendous defender, okay? But does his defensive prowess make up for the fact that he likes to put the ball on the floor? And this is not a style of basketball where guys who over-dribble are going to be successful. And then there's one other factor to it. We talked about whether or not he could come off the bench or not even play and be happy and wave the towel and be a good teammate. There's also this, okay? This is Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown's teammate. And remember, we've been told, hey, there's no beef between the two. They love playing together, yada, yada, yada. This is Jayson Tatum when asked yesterday about Jaylen Brown not being on the Olympic team.
Did you talk about having Jaylen here?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys that could, take that last spot or whatever. Yeah, it is.
There's so many guys. That was his actual answer. There's so many guys. Not, hey, Jaylen's my ride or die. Jaylen's my dude. Jaylen just won the MVP. God, I wish Jaylen was here. And matter of fact, if he's not here, it just doesn't feel right to take the floor without Jaylen Brown. Like, what negative it is? Like, I'm super excited to have Derek, considering Derek, started his career as a D2 and worked his way up to being an NBA champion. But, man, Jaylen, he's coming off the best year of his career. He should be here as well. I wish he was here. You didn't hear that. He said, yeah, there's a lot of guys. Okay? They're telling you all you need to know. Sometimes the truth is, in fact, the truth. Sometimes the president is born in Hawaii. Sometimes you just lose an election. Okay? Sometimes you're just too old to be president. There are no conspiracy theories here. Sometimes you're just hard to deal with. That's Jaylen Brown. Okay? Style-wise, it might not be a fit, but it feels like if the other star from your team, his reaction to you not making the team is, there's a lot of guys. Tells you all you need to know. What does the kids say now? Say less, right? That's the expression. Have you heard that? Say less. Say less. That's all you need to know. That Jayson Tatum was asked about Jaylen Brown not making the team, and he's like, there's a lot of guys. Grant Hill is asked, and Grant Hill said, we got to build the best team. That's it. Look, Isaiah Thomas didn't make the dream team. Do you know why? Because no one could stand Isaiah Thomas. Okay? It wasn't just Michael Jordan. Isaiah Thomas said, or at least insinuated, that his quote-unquote best friend, Magic Johnson, might be gay when he contracted HIV. Remember, that predated the 1992 Dream Team Olympics. When Larry Bird eliminated the Pistons from the playoffs, it was Isaiah Thomas who said, if he was white, Larry Bird, he's just another guy. When Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan can't stand you, you're not getting on the Olympic team, which is called the Dream Team. The reason he didn't make it was not the credentials, and I hit all those credentials. When Jayson Tatum says there's a lot of guys, and Grant Hill says we're trying to build a team, tells you all you need to know. So if Jaylen Brown has more to the story, here's the story. There's no conspiracy. They just think they're better off without him. Because part of the Olympics experience is you're together every day for a month. And if guys can't stand you, if you wear everybody down, if you can't come off the bench, then you can't be part of USA basketball.